They say blood is thicker than water. But I learned at 19 that blood can also be thicker with greed. And sometimes the people who share your DNA will rob you blind while smiling in your face. My name is Jamal Thompson, and this is the story of how I sent my uncle and aunt to federal prison for stealing $300,000 from the woman who raised us all. "Grandma, what are you eating?" I asked, standing in her kitchen doorway on a Thursday afternoon in March. She was hunched over the stove, stirring a pot of ramen noodles, the 29-cent kind from the corner store. "Just a little something, baby," she said without turning around. "Not too hungry today." But I knew better. Grandma Elizabeth Thompson was always hungry. The woman who used to cook Sunday dinners that could feed the whole block, who kept her freezer stocked with meat from the good butcher shop, who never let anyone leave her house without eating, was now surviving on instant noodles and white bread. "Where are the groceries I brought you last week?" "Oh, I gave some to your cousin Ray Ray. He's having a hard time." That was Grandma, always giving even when she had nothing left to give. But something felt wrong. Ray Ray had just posted pictures from Miami on Instagram, popping bottles in VIP sections. Hard times did not look like that. I opened her refrigerator. Empty except for a half-gallon of milk about to expire, some eggs, and a stick of butter. The freezer had ice and nothing else. This was not the kitchen of the woman who worked 3 jobs for 40 years, who saved every penny, who proudly told everyone she had money put away for her grandkids' college education. "Grandma, when was the last time Uncle Marcus came by?" Her face lit up. "Oh, he was just here yesterday. Such a good son, handling all my banking for me now. Says I do not need to worry about nothing." That was the moment my stomach dropped. Uncle Marcus handling her banking. The same Uncle Marcus who had been borrowing money from family members his whole life and never paying it back. The same Uncle Marcus whose wife, my Aunt Sheila, posted pictures of her new Mercedes on Facebook last month talking about being blessed and highly favored. I sat down at Grandma's kitchen table, the same one where she taught me to read, where she helped me with homework, where she fed me when my own parents were too busy fighting their own demons to remember they had kids. "Grandma, can I see your bank statements?" "What for, baby?" "Just want to make sure everything is okay. Your uncle has all that. He says it is too complicated for me now." She tapped her temple. "This old brain is not what it used to be." That was their game. Convince her she was losing it, that she needed help, that they were doing her a favor. But I knew my grandmother. Yes, she forgot names sometimes, repeated stories, but when it came to money, Grandma could tell you to the penny how much she spent on groceries in 1987. "How about we go to the bank together tomorrow? Just to check on things." "Oh, I do not want to bother Marcus. He gets upset when I ask too many questions." That night, I could not sleep. Something was deeply wrong. I knew Grandma had been saving money since before I was born. She worked as a housekeeper at Cleveland Clinic for 25 years, cleaned office buildings at night for another 10, and did laundry for wealthy families on weekends. Every extra dollar went into savings. She lived below her means, drove the same car for 15 years, never took vacations. Also, her grandchildren could have opportunities she never did. She used to tell me, "Jamal, I got $300,000 saved. That is for you and your cousins to go to college, to buy houses, to start businesses. That is my legacy." The next morning, I showed up at Grandma's house at 8 o'clock sharp. "We are going to the bank." "Baby, I told you Marcus handles." "Grandma, please. Just humor me." She must have seen something in my face because she stopped protesting and got her purse. The ride to Fifth Third Bank was quiet. Grandma kept fidgeting with her hands, nervous about something. When we walked in, the teller recognized her immediately. "Mrs. Thompson, we have not seen you in months. How are you?" "I am fine, baby. My grandson just wanted to check on something." I helped Grandma to a chair and went to the teller. "We need to check the balance on all of her accounts." The teller looked at her screen, typing, then her face changed. Let me get the manager." My heart was pounding. The manager, a middle-aged white woman named Karen, came over with papers in her hand. "Mrs. Thompson, Mr. Thompson, She nodded at us. I see here that Marcus Thompson has power of attorney on these accounts. Yes, Grandma said. He is helping me. Grandma never signed power of attorney papers, I said. Karen looked uncomfortable. Well, we have the documentation on file. Would you like to see the current balances? She handed me the paper. I had to read it 3 times before my brain would process what I was seeing. Checking account, $412. Savings account, closed. Money market account, closed. Certificate of deposit, cashed out early, penalty paid. This cannot be right, I said. There should be $300,000 here. Karen pulled up the transaction history. Page after page of withdrawals. Casino ATMs. Luxury car dealerships. Hotels in Vegas. Jewelry stores. Caribbean cruise lines. All in the last 8 months. All authorized by Marcus Thompson using his power of attorney. Grandma, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Did you know about any of this? She was staring at the papers, her hands shaking. No, this is wrong. My money, my grandkids' money. I'm calling the police, I said. No, Grandma grabbed my hand. That is my son. You cannot call the police on family. He stole from you, Grandma. He stole everything. There must be a mistake. Marcus would never. But even as she said it, I could see the realization hitting her. All the times Marcus and Sheila suddenly had nice things. The new house they bought. The vacations they took. The way they always insisted on handling her affairs. Isolating her from the rest of the family. Convincing her she was too old to manage her own money. We left the bank with copies of everything. In the car, Grandma broke down crying. Not gentle tears, but deep, body-shaking sobs. In 78 years of life, through raising 6 kids alone after Grandpa died, through working jobs that broke her body, through burying 2 of her children, I had never seen her cry like this. All that work, she kept saying. All those years. For nothing. Not for nothing, I said. We are going to get it back. How? Marcus is my son. I cannot send my own son to jail. Then I will. I drove straight to Uncle Marcus's house, the new one in Shaker Heights that he bought 6 months ago. Just wait here, I told Grandma. Marcus answered the door in a silk bathrobe at 2 in the afternoon. Jamal, what you doing here, nephew? We need to talk about Grandma's money. His face changed instantly. What about it? The $300,000 you stole. Stole? I am managing her finances. She asked me to. She asked you to buy yourself a house? A Mercedes for Aunt Sheila? Vacations to the Bahamas? You do not know what you are talking about, boy. I have the bank statements. He stepped closer, trying to intimidate me. Marcus was 6'3", 250 pounds, used to bullying people with his size. But I was not scared. I was furious. You need to mind your business, nephew. This is between me and my mother. Your mother is eating ramen noodles while you are living in a $500,000 house bought with her money. She gave me that money. She has dementia, according to you. How can someone with dementia give consent? That caught him. I could see him calculating, trying to figure out how much I knew. Look, he said, voice changing to smooth. We are family. We can work this out. How much you need? I can cut you in. Cut me in? You think I want to steal from Grandma too? It is not stealing. That money was just sitting there. She was not using it. It was for our education. For our futures. Man, please. You think that old woman was really going to give you that money? She was going to hold it over everyone's heads until she died. Then the state would take it because she did not have a will. She has a will. I helped her write it 2 years ago. His face went pale. What will? The one that leaves everything to her grandchildren for education. The one that specifically states you and Aunt Sheila are not beneficiaries because, and I quote, they have already taken enough from this family. You lying. Call Attorney Johnson on Superior Avenue. He has a copy. Aunt Sheila appeared behind Marcus, had been listening. What is going on? Your nephew here is making threats. I am not making threats. I am making promises. You have 72 hours to return every penny, or I am going to the FBI. The FBI. Sheila laughed. For a family dispute? For elder abuse? For fraud? For identity theft? For forging power of attorney documents? Oh yeah, I know about that too. Grandma's signature on those papers? The notary who supposedly witnessed it? She died 2 years ago. Hard to notarize documents from the grave. They looked at each other, and I saw the panic. You do not have proof of that, Marcus said. I pulled out my phone, showed him the obituary for the notary, dated 2 years before the documents were supposedly signed. 72 hours. We do not have the money anymore, Sheila said quickly. It is spent. Then you better unspend it. Sell the house. Sell the cars. Sell whatever you bought. 72 hours. And if we do not, then you will be selling it anyway to pay for lawyers. Federal prison for elder abuse is 5 to 20 years. Ask yourself if that house was worth it. I left them standing in their doorway of their stolen dream home and went back to the car. Grandma was still crying. What did they say? They are going to make it right. How? Do not worry about it. Just trust me. But they did not make it right. They tried to run. Transferred the house to Sheila's mother's name. Hid assets. Moved money offshore. So I did what I promised. I called the FBI. Turns out, elder financial abuse is a federal crime, especially when it crosses state lines, which it did when they used Grandma's money for trips and online gambling. The investigation was swift and thorough. The FBI Financial Crimes Unit said it was one of the most clear-cut cases they had seen. The forged documents, the systematic draining of accounts, the isolation of the victim, the paper trail of luxury purchases while the victim lived in poverty. Uncle Marcus tried to call me the night before they arrested him. Nephew, you do not understand what you are doing. This will destroy the family. You destroyed the family when you robbed the woman who raised us all. She is my mother. I have a right to that money. You have a right to nothing but what you earn. And now you have earned 5 to 20 in federal prison. You really going to do this? Send your own blood to prison. You really stole from your own mother? Left her with nothing. I will pay it back. With what? You spent it all. Please, Jamal. I am begging you. I have kids. So did Grandma when she was working 3 jobs. Your kids will be fine. They have their mother's family. Grandma only had us, and you stole from her anyway. They arrested Uncle Marcus and Aunt Sheila on a Tuesday morning. Federal agents at their door at 6 a.m. The whole neighborhood saw. It made the news. Local couple arrested for stealing $300,000 from elderly mother. The family exploded. My phone did not stop ringing for weeks. Some supported me, said it was about time someone stood up to Marcus. Others said I was a traitor, that family business should stay in the family. My cousin Terrence, Marcus's son, posted on Facebook that I was dead to him. My Aunt Joyce said I should have minded my own business. But cousin Angela called crying, thanking me. He stole from me too, she said. Told me Grandma wanted to borrow my savings for medical bills. I gave him $8,000. Never saw it again. More stories came out. Marcus had been stealing from family members for years, using Grandma's name, trading on the respect everyone had for her. He had taken over $50,000 from various relatives, all thinking they were helping Grandma. The trial was brutal. I had to testify against my own uncle. Sit in that courtroom and detail how he systematically robbed his mother, how he convinced her she was losing her mind, how he isolated her from family members who might have noticed, how he left her eating ramen while he lived in luxury. Grandma had to testify too. 78 years old, wearing her best church dress, telling a room full of strangers how her own son betrayed her. She still could not look at Marcus. He kept trying to catch her eye, mouthing "Mama, please." The evidence was overwhelming. Bank records, forged documents, text messages between Marcus and Sheila laughing about how easy it was. One text from Sheila said, "The old lady does not even know what year it is. We could take everything, and she would thank us for it." Another from Marcus, "300K just sitting there while she eats bologna sandwiches. We deserve this for putting up with her all these years. The prosecutor asked Grandma one question that broke everyone in the courtroom. Mrs. Thompson, what were you saving that money for? For my grandbabies to go to college, to have better lives than I did, to not have to clean other people's toilets for 30 years, to be somebody. She looked directly at Marcus for the first time. I did not save it for my son to steal. I already gave him everything I could his whole life. This was not his to take. Marcus got 12 years. Sheila got 8. They had to sell everything to pay restitution, but we only recovered about $60,000. The rest was gone. Gambling, luxury trips, expensive clothes, living a fantasy on an old woman's dreams. The family never recovered. We split into camps, those who supported justice, and those who thought I should have let it go. Thanksgiving that year had 8 people instead of 40. Christmas was worse. Grandma sat in her chair, looking at the empty spaces where family used to be. Did I do wrong raising him? She asked me one night. Where did I fail that my own son would do this to me? You did not fail, Grandma. Some people are just broken. You gave him every opportunity to be better. He chose to be worse. But family does not mean letting people destroy you. Family means protecting each other, not preying on each other. I dropped out of Cleveland State to take care of Grandma full-time. Got a job at Progressive Insurance during the day, DoorDash at night. We made it work. The church helped with groceries. Neighbors who remembered Grandma's kindness over the years stepped up. Ms. Johnson from next door brought dinner every Sunday. Mr. Williams fixed things around the house for free. You see, Grandma said one evening, these people are not blood, but they are family. Marcus is blood, but he is not family. You taught me that. You taught me first, I said. You taught me that love is action, not just words. Marcus said he loved you while robbing you. These neighbors show love by showing up. One day, about 6 months after the trial, I was going through Grandma's papers to help her apply for assistance programs, and I found a letter she had started writing to Marcus but never sent. My dear son, I would have given you everything if you had just asked. If you had come to me and said, Mama, I need help, I would have helped. But you did not want help. You wanted to take. You wanted to steal not just money, but my dignity, my agency, my trust in my own mind. You made me doubt myself, made me think I was losing it. Also, you could take what I spent my whole life building. That is what I cannot forgive. Not the money, the betrayal, the way you looked me in my face and smiled while robbing me blind. I raised you better. I showed you better. You chose to be worse. Now you have to live with that choice. I pray for you, son, but I do not forgive you. Maybe God will. I cannot. I never told Grandma when I found that letter, but I understood. Forgiveness is not owed. It is earned, and Marcus had done nothing to earn it. The FBI agent on the case, Agent Rodriguez, told me something that stuck with me. You know how rare it is for someone to stand up like you did? Most elder abuse goes unreported because family members do not want to get involved. You saved your grandmother, but you also probably saved other elderly people. This case got media attention. Other families are now checking on their elderly relatives' finances. You did a good thing, but it did not feel good. It felt like I had destroyed my family. It felt like I had chosen law over love, until Grandma set me straight. You did not destroy nothing, she said one morning over breakfast. Marcus destroyed this family when he chose greed over grace. You tried to save what was left. That is not destruction. That is preservation. She was right. I was not the one who stole. I was not the one who lied. I was not the one who left an old woman in poverty while living in luxury. I was just the one who said, this is wrong, and it needs to stop. 3 years have passed now. Grandma is 81, still sharp, still strong, still here. We moved to a smaller apartment, but it is safe and clean and ours. I finished my degree online while working, graduated with a bachelor's in criminal justice. Now I work for Adult Protective Services, helping investigate elder abuse cases. Every case reminds me of Grandma. Every victim reminds me of what Uncle Marcus tried to do. And every family member who says, "But they are family," reminds me of my own struggle with that decision. Here is what I tell them. Family is not a license to steal. Blood is not permission to abuse. Love does not mean accepting victimization. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is hold someone accountable for their actions. Uncle Marcus has tried to write from prison. I return the letters unopened. Aunt Sheila's family blames me for her incarceration, says her kids are suffering without their mother. I remind them that their mother chose crime over those kids. She had opportunities to stop, to return the money, to make it right. She chose otherwise. Cousin Terrence eventually came around. Called me one day crying, apologizing. His dad had stolen from him too. He just did not want to admit it. I gave him my whole signing bonus from my job, $15,000, told me he was investing it for me. Never saw a penny back. Why did not you say something during the trial? Because he is my father. Because I kept thinking he would make it right. Because I was ashamed that my own father would do that to me. That is the insidious nature of family financial abuse. The shame keeps victims quiet. The love makes them doubt themselves. The relationship makes them excuse the inexcusable. If you are listening to this and something sounds familiar, if you have that nagging feeling that something is not right with your elderly relative's finances, do not ignore it. Check on them. Ask questions. Look at bank statements. Do not let family ties blind you to family crimes. Elder abuse is real. It is rampant, and it is usually committed by someone the victim trusts and loves. Children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews. The very people who should be protecting our elders are often the ones exploiting them. Grandma and I have built a new life. It is smaller than what she planned, simpler than what she saved for, but it is honest. No one is stealing from her. No one is lying to her. No one is making her doubt her own mind. She still cooks, but now it is because she wants to, not because she has to survive on cheap food. The church ladies come over for coffee and gossip. The neighbor kids help with her garden. Life is good, even if it is different than expected. You know what I learned from all this? Grandma said to me last week, "What is that?" That $300,000 was not my legacy. You are. The strength to stand up for what is right, even when it costs you everything. That is worth more than money. But the money would have been nice too, I said, trying to make her laugh. She did laugh. Yes, it would have. But we got something better. We got truth. We got justice. And we got each other. Marcus got 12 years in a cage. Who really won? She was right, as usual. Uncle Marcus traded his freedom for money that was not his. He traded his family for temporary luxury. He traded his mother's love for material things that got repossessed anyway. Meanwhile, Grandma and I grew closer. Our bond, forged in the fire of betrayal and strengthened by survival, is unbreakable. She knows I will protect her. I know she loves me for more than what I can do for her. That is real family. The restitution checks come monthly, small payments toward a debt that can never really be repaid. Not just the monetary debt, but the emotional one, the trust debt, the family debt. Some things, once broken, can never be fully restored. But we are building something new from the pieces. A smaller family, but a more honest one. Fewer people at the table, but no one there is secretly stealing the silverware. Less money in the bank, but more peace in our hearts. I still work elder abuse cases. Every time I help another family, I think of Grandma. Every time I see an adult child stealing from their parent, I think of Uncle Marcus. Every time a family member says they cannot possibly report their relative, I tell them my story. But what about family loyalty? They ask. What about it? I respond. Were they loyal when they stole? Were they loyal when they lied? Were they loyal when they left their elderly relative in poverty? Loyalty goes both ways, and crime cancels it out. Some listen. Some do not. Some families would rather preserve the illusion of unity than pursue the reality of justice. That is their choice. But I made mine, and despite the pain, despite the loss, despite the fractured family, I would make it again. Because at the end of the day, I can look at myself in the mirror. I can sleep at night. I can face my grandmother without shame. Can Uncle Marcus say the same from his prison cell? Can Aunt Sheila? Can the family members who knew something was wrong but stayed silent? Thank you for listening to my story, to Grandma's story, to our truth. If you are in a similar situation, if you suspect elder abuse, if you know something is wrong but family pressure keeps you silent, let me tell you what I wish someone had told me sooner. Your loyalty should be to the victim, not the victimizer. Your obligation is to the vulnerable, not the violator. Your family is defined by love and protection, not blood and predation. It is not easy to stand up to family. It is not comfortable to be the one who speaks truth in a family built on lies. It is not pleasant to be labeled the traitor when you are actually the protector. But it is necessary. It is right. And it is the only way to break cycles of abuse that hide behind the word family. Uncle Marcus will be out in 9 years with good behavior. Aunt Sheila in 5. The family is already divided about what happens then. Some say we should welcome them back, forgive and forget. Others say they should never be allowed near Grandma again. I say that is Grandma's decision to make. But I will be there, watching, protecting, ensuring that no one ever takes advantage of her again. That is my job as her grandson. That is my duty as someone who loves her. That is my promise as the one who stood up when everyone else sat down. My name is Jamal Thompson. I am 22 now, a college graduate, a social worker, a protector of the vulnerable. 3 years ago, I discovered my uncle and aunt were stealing my grandmother's life savings. I had a choice: stay silent and keep the family together, or speak up and save my grandmother. I chose my grandmother. I chose justice. I chose truth. It cost me half my family. It gained me my integrity. It cost me relationships. It gained me respect from the people who matter. It cost me peace in the moment. It gained me peace for a lifetime. The choice between family harmony and family justice is not a choice at all. Harmony built on lies is discord waiting to happen. Justice that breaks false peace creates space for real healing. If you are facing this choice, if you are standing at this crossroads, know that the path of truth is harder, but leads somewhere worth going. The path of silence is easier, but leads nowhere at all. Choose truth. Choose justice. Choose the vulnerable over the violators. Choose integrity over illusion. Choose to be the family member who stands up rather than the one who stands by. Because 40 years from now, when you are old and vulnerable, you want to be surrounded by people who have proven they will protect you, not prey on you. You want to know that your life's work will be honored, not stolen. You want to trust that your family sees you as a person to love, not a resource to exploit. That is the legacy I am building. That is the family I am creating. That is the truth I am living. And that is why, despite everything, I regret nothing. Thank you for listening. There are 2 more videos here from people who had to make similar choices, who had to stand up to family to stand up for family. Click on whichever speaks to you. And if you want to be part of a community that understands that real family protection sometimes means prosecution, that notification bell is waiting for you.